What is up, everybody? Hope you're having a wonderful week. Happy Friday. Walt Key here. Welcome back to the channel. Man, I realized that we haven't done a crypto market update in almost a month. I think it's been about 3 weeks now. So, my apologies for taking too long for that. It is well overdue. So, today we're going to dive into a cryptocurrency market update. Before I do that, you got to do me a favor. You got to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and please share this video with someone else, whether it's a friend, a family member, someone that you saw at the coffee shop and they mentioned the word cryptocurrency. Just share this to your social media. I'd love to get some more followers so that more people can get the information to make wise decisions with their wealth. All right, I appreciate that. Let's dive right in. So today we're going to jump into the Bitcoin chart. And what we're looking at here is the daily chart, because I'm a long-term guy. I like the trends. I don't want to look at a minute or an hourly. There's not enough detail there to really help you. So this is about a month of daily candles. And so what we're going to talk about today is where are we at? Why are we there? Where are we likely going? Where are our support and resistance lines? What does this mean for you and your money as we move forward? Now, when I say you and your money, I have to caveat, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm telling you what Walt Key believes. I'm telling you exactly what I'm doing so that you can have informed decisions to make on your own. This is not financial advice. However, let's dive into the chart. So as we look here, I've drawn two lines for you. I've drawn a green line and a blue line. Real quick, the green line is our previous long-term resistance line. We see that there's been multiple wicks down to about that $31,000 mark. And always we come back from that. We haven't dropped below 31, roughly 31,000. You can call it 30,000 and change. And that's a solid base of resistance at this point. Now, the other thing I drew for you, and again, we're looking at roughly a month. So this is back on 19 May. We're right about a month. Today is 18 June. My little brother's birthday today. The trend line has put us in a position where right here on 13 June, we actually broke back above that downtrend resistance line. That is a very good thing. However, you'll notice that we've got multiple days now where we've made lower closes. And we are almost to the support line of that resistance trend. Now, what does that mean? That means when we hit about $36,500, right now we're trading at about 37,000 and change. When we get to the $36,500 mark, that is going to do one of two things for us. It is either going to act as a strong support line from which we will then bounce up and make new highs, or if we can't hold that support line, the price will go under and it will now become the new resistance that we have to break through again. If our price breaks below 36,500 roughly, and it does not rebound, if we drop below 36.5 and we don't hold that line, then our next our next support level is going to be roughly between, there's a couple smaller ones, right? Between 36,500 and roughly 32,000, there are a couple light, we'll call them light resistance, 33,000, 32.5, somewhere in that range. We have a light resistance. And then again, we could be looking at that $31,000 mark as our strong resistance before we move back into the uptrend. Really what you're seeing here, like if I was to draw a horizontal line across from all the way back from 19 May to now, you could argue that we're in a very classic consolidation pattern. Yes, there is a slight downtrend in the pattern right now, but it's really a consolidation pattern between 31,000 and 41,000. And that's funny that we say, well, the consolidation pattern is roughly 31,000 to 41,000. And here's why that's funny. If you go back and you look at the charts from like 2018, 2019, Bitcoin was also in a consolidation channel at one point between about 3,100 and 4,100. Now we're talking about a support channel and a consolidation channel in the 31,000 to 41,000 range in just a couple years. So if you were investing in Bitcoin 2 to 3 years ago, and you were scratching your head going, man, what is going on here? I see this consolidation pattern between 3,100 and 4,100. You've already made 1,000% gain on your investment in a few years. And now we're sitting here balking over a consolidation between 31,000 and 41,000. It's mind boggling. This is a great consolidation pattern, right? This is what we typically see before large breakouts. If you remember some of my other videos, and if you haven't watched them, go back and look at some of my previous videos. You can look at the one where I talked about Dogecoin consolidating. You can look at the one where I talked about Cardano was in a consolidation pattern. That was in roughly the $1.20 mark before it broke up to the $2 mark. Now we've come back down a bit into the mid ones. These consolidation patterns happen. It's healthy. It's good for the future long-term market. And so this is not unusual at all. Not at all. Has there been some FUD out there? Has there been some news that have driven the price down? Absolutely. Recently, we've got some great news that's actually buoying the price back up. So we all know that Elon Musk tweeted that Tesla is not going to take Bitcoin anymore because it's dirty. We all know China said, "Oh, we're banning Bitcoin again," even though we've already banned it, and we're not really banning it again, right? Ironically, we had all those bad news stories really as we were cresting the peak of that $60,000 mark anyway. Now, let's talk briefly about some good news stories, and then we'll come back to the chart. Right here, 9 June, what is this big green candle? This is beautiful. What happened on 9 June? Well, I'm going to tell you what happened on 9 June. A country actually voted to make Bitcoin legal tender. Let me say that again. A country's Congress almost unanimously voted to make Bitcoin legal tender. Now, that country was El Salvador. Here's a snippet of the actual law that was passed by a supermajority in the El Salvador Congress. The purpose of this law is to regulate Bitcoin in an unrestricted legal tender with liberating power, unlimited in any transaction, and to any title that public or private natural or legal persons require carrying out. So now in El Salvador, they said prices can be shown in Bitcoin for products. Taxes can be paid with Bitcoin. And here's the kicker. If you make a transaction with Bitcoin in El Salvador, because it is now officially legal tender, you will have zero capital gains tax. It is no longer considered an investment class. It is considered money. That's a big deal, folks. Now you could say, well, El Salvador is the smallest country in Central America. They only have 6.4 million people. Yep. But it's still a country with 6.4 million people that just made it legal tender. And here's the thing. Let's talk about any investment, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, real estate, any break in technology, any new move in the great direction of any great investment. There's always been the early adopters, right? There's been those folks that said, I see the value here. Let me get into this. And eventually the rest of the world catches up. But those early adopters are the ones that stand to make so much money and so much gain. El Salvador is the foreign government early adopter of Bitcoin legal tender. When countries start to see what this does for the El Salvadorian market, for their economy, for the GDP to a degree, when people start to see the benefits of El Salvador letting Bitcoin be legal tender, they will eventually start piling on and say, wow, here's this little 6.4 million population, smallest country in Central America, and we see the gains that they are making in their economy because they did this. It's time for us to do this as well. So El Salvador is no kidding the early adopter for foreign countries having Bitcoin as legal tender. Let me give you another quick early adopter story because that'll play into something else. In the early days, right? Let's go back well before Apple was Apple. Michael Saylor, which runs MicroStrategy, a tech company worth billions of dollars. You can Google this. You'll find him on video talking about how amazing Apple was going to be, how they were going to revolutionize the space. He was an early adopter to what is now Apple. It wasn't then, but it is now. Now, why do I bring up Michael Saylor as an example? Well, because MicroStrategy, Michael Saylor's multi-billion dollar company, just a few days ago, you can see these big green candles. Just a few days ago, Michael Saylor said they were going to sell. And by the way, Michael Saylor's company owns about $3.6 billion of Bitcoin already, like 92,000 Bitcoins that the company already owns, because that's how much he believes in the long-term Bitcoin, future price. 3.6 billion that he already owns today. He just announced that they're going to sell up to $1 billion of their company stock shares in order to increase their holdings of Bitcoin. This is a multi-billion dollar tech company selling their own shares so they can buy more Bitcoin, up to $1 billion. That was this news right here. All right, so just to give you an idea of what big, smart, far smarter than Walt Key or you and I, this is the things that are happening in this space. You've got an asset that is worth multiple times over what it is trading at right now, and yet people are scared to buy it. When it was $60,000 5 weeks ago, if I'd have told you that day when it was $60,000, I'll give you my Bitcoin for $30,000, you would have taken me up on it in a heartbeat. But now, because we've seen the price come down for a month, people are afraid to buy an asset, even though they already know the intrinsic value is higher. And so let's talk a bit about what's called the greed and fear index. Let me jump over to this here. I want to show you. This is the fear and greed index for crypto. You can see right here, it's at extreme fear. We're at 25. Now, what does this matter? What is the fear and greed index, right? This is for crypto specifically. There's another one that gauges market sentiment for stocks in general. Here's how fear and greed index works. And I have said this to you before. If you watch my videos, you will hear these words already. You, as a smart investor, want to be greedy when others are fearful, and you want to be fearful when others are greedy. That's how you win at this money game. And that's exactly what this fear and greed index is designed for. It shows you what the overall market sentiment is. Right now, it's extreme fear. That represents an excellent buying opportunity. This is the time that you should be greedy and be buying cryptocurrencies or stocks or mutual funds, whatever it might be you're investing in, because everyone else is fearful. This is the time to buy. Likewise, if we saw this way over here at the extreme greed, that's that minute in time where everyone is euphoric. Everyone says it's going to the moon, it's never going to come down. That is the time that you start going, I think we're due for a pullback. Let me shift my funds into something a little bit more stable, because at some point these prices have to correct. So you be greedy when other people are fearful, and you be fearful when other people are greedy, and you will make a lot of wealth over your lifetime. Right now, extreme fear in the crypto market means it is a wonderful time to be buying crypto. Okay, let's go back to the chart for just a minute. What are we looking for in the short term? I'm going to zoom in on this just a bit. I'm staying on the daily. Listen, when you're analyzing crypto, when you're analyzing most things, I look at a long term, right? If you're going to day trade, look at the 5-minute chart, right? If you're going to swing trade, look at the 30-minute chart. If you're in this for an investment, if you are buying for the long term big wealth gains, you don't need to look at those short-term time frames, right? Look at the daily, maybe even look at the weekly to really determine some macro trends. And so what are we looking for? So we're looking for Bitcoin's price right this second to stay above 36.5. However, it would actually be good to hit 36.5. So right now we're at 37.2. I would not be sad one bit if we saw Bitcoin drop another $700, give or take $100. I want to see Bitcoin's price touch this trend line and confirm that that is solid support. We need that. And what will likely happen And again, it will be a good thing. Let me grab my fancy little brush here. What we want to see is that Bitcoin comes down, touches off this support, comes back up, potentially bumps the support a couple more times. And then once we've got solid confirmation of the support, we can then start trending back to the upside. We need to confirm this solid support before moving higher. Why? Because if we did a parabolic shift, if we just skyrocketed and we went from here and all of a sudden a catalyst went boom, well, there's no resistance or support in the price action, right? We're in uncharted territory at that point, and so the volatility can be scary. When we base this 36.5 as a solid support, we will then move up, and hopefully we establish an uptrend, and we can follow the uptrend. Let's say, just for a brief example, that we consolidate here, we bump 36.5 a couple times, and we start to make a new uptrend. Okay, that'll work. That's ugly. Bear with me. And then we say we came up, we tested that new support, we came off of it, we tested that new support, and we came off of it. That's the kind of price movement you want to see that's healthy long term in stocks, in mutual funds, in cryptocurrency. A skyrocketing price leaves you with no support to bounce off of when there is a price correction. And that's when you get this skyrocket price and then 50% drop, because when the price trend shifts, there's nothing to base what is a good solid support, and it just goes down until it hits that last support, which in this case would be about 36.5. So we actually want to see 36.5. We want to confirm that it can hold 36.5, and we want to see a smooth and methodical uptrend touching those new support lines as we go. Long term, we're going to see prices higher. Let me get rid of some of this clutter on the screen. We're going to see prices higher. We want to do this in a slow, methodical manner, and we need to formally establish this 36.5 trend line as new support so we can have a base from which to go higher. I hope that makes sense, everybody. If it doesn't, drop me a comment. Let me know your thoughts. If you need me to clarify anything, I'm happy to. Okay, now, where is the price going to be in the future? I don't know. Well, I do know, but here's the thing. If you watch my videos from 4 weeks ago, in a couple of those videos, I said I thought we were going to see new all-time highs in 2 weeks. Clearly, I was wrong. I did not anticipate all of the negative news that came out. I did not know China was going to reiterate the ban that they already reiterated 6 times over the last 5 years. I didn't know that Tesla was going to come out and say, we've decided to stop using Bitcoin to buy Teslas. Right? I didn't know any of those future events were going to occur, and therefore the price action changed. It happens. Technical analysis is not, predictions for the future. Technical analysis is charting out the past so that you can make wise historical analysis, breaking out the likely trends in order to determine what might occur in the future. That's why technical analysis can be so vital in showing you what could happen in the future. You have to overlay your technical analysis with strong fundamentals. And like I said earlier, what has fundamentally changed in the crypto space? Nothing. Is Bitcoin still an amazing store of value? Absolutely yes. Is Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, VeChain, are they all long-term sustainable projects that have amazing use case and the ability to disrupt their industries? Yes. None of that has changed. So we have solid fundamentals, and we have technical analysis that now tells us we're probably at a severe discount on where the price should be. That is a good buying opportunity. Now, like I said earlier, I don't know where the price is going to go. If we get to 36.5 and bounce off and come back and bounce off, that is a very strong indication that we're going to go higher in the near term. If we get to 36.5 and we break down below 36.5, we could theoretically, if we don't quickly rebound, we could theoretically come down to more like the 35,000 range. And if we don't come back from the 35,000 range, you could argue that we could potentially see Bitcoin come back into the 32.5 range. And if we don't come back to the 32.5 range and start consolidating higher, we could potentially be all the way back into the 30,000 range in the short term. Short term. Long term, Bitcoin is still conservatively going to be at $100,000 by the end of this bull market. So you're buying it at a 2/3 discount. That's not a bad time to buy. The El Salvador adoption of Bitcoin as legal tender, part of that law was they have 90 days before it is in full effect in the country. And so from June 9th, 90 days is September 9th. On September 9th, give or take a day, right? We are going to start to see the actual implementation of Bitcoin being legal tender in the country used as money. From there, who knows how long it takes before people start going, wow, we should do this also. But we do know that we're very likely to see that sentiment improve as we watch what El Salvador's economy does utilizing Bitcoin as money. That's a very good thing. Let me just say what Walkie has done in the last month. I have not sold a dime of any of my crypto holdings. I still own Ethereum. I still own Cardano. I still own VeChain. I still own Harmony. I still own some smaller projects. I have not seen a fundamental change in the value metrics of any of these crypto projects. And I firmly believe that in the future, the prices will be substantially higher. And so I have not sold any. I have bought more. People are greedy when people are fearful if they're smart. People are very fearful right now. I'm being greedy. I'm buying more. I have bought more, a fair bit more actually, over this last month of downtrend. I have bought more. And I think I'm going to be paid well when that investment returns in the next potentially several months. Maybe in 2 weeks, we're back into a solid 40 plus range and we continue to move higher. It's possible. Almost definitely in the next 3 months, prices are higher. With a great certainty, by the end of this year, prices are substantially higher. Let me say this too, there is still market cycles. Nothing has fundamentally changed the way the crypto market works. There will be a bear market. Now, for the purist out there that read the definition of bear market, you could argue that we're in a bear market now because we've come down so much in the last month. That's technically accurate. And so you could argue we're in a bear market, but we are not in the bear market. In crypto, world, the bear market is a substantial, long-term, significant drop that lasts for a while. We're just not there yet. All of the data points, all of the metrics, all of the fundamentals suggest we're just not there yet. And we've got a little bit of a ways to go still. We're not even close to it. I personally believe what we're seeing is a short-term correction in a longer-term bear market cycle. I do not espouse the belief that the bear markets or the bull market cycle is necessarily going to peak exactly where it is statistically peaked in the past, because all of the data, all of the charts, all of the logarithmic progression bands, etc., suggest that each market cycle has been longer than the last, and each market cycle has had a slightly more diminished return than the previous. And that makes perfect sense, because when Bitcoin's $1, it can go to 100 really easy. But when Bitcoin's 100, it takes a little more price volatility, it takes a little more buy-in, it takes a little more movement because the market cap is larger to get to 1,000. And now here we are at thousands, tens of thousands. It's going to take a little bit more to get us to hundreds of thousands. And so it makes perfect sense that the market cycles have extended a bit and that the returns within the same time frames are a little more diminished. That's good. That's what all the data shows us, and I think that makes perfect sense. So where are we at? Let me shake my crystal ball. Oh, look at that. By the end of the year, we're closing in on $100,000. There you go. Crystal ball says $100,000 by the end of the year. That's probably conservative still. Again, we don't know what the future holds. We don't know how much of this consolidation pattern we're going to be in, how long we're going to be in it, what other news might break to change the price action. But I firmly believe we're going to be at higher prices in 3 months than we are now, and substantially higher prices in 6 to 9 months than we are now. And listen, when I see the data that suggests the bull market run is ending, not over, but ending. When I see the data that suggests we're making it to the peak, I will absolutely do two things. I will do exactly what I've told you I will do, in that I will start dollar cost averaging out of my crypto holdings. And the second thing I will do is, as soon as I start doing that, I will put on my videos that I'm doing that. I will not hide anything from you. This is not like a CEO who sells his company stock and you don't find out about it till you read the 10K months later. The moment I believe the trend has shifted, you will be the first to know. And the moment I start moving my money out, you will be the first to know. I will tell you what I'm moving out of. I will tell you how I'm moving out of it. I will tell you exactly what I think you should do based on what I'm doing. It's not financial advice, but it's Waltke's opinion. I will tell you. So if you don't have the time and energy and know how to research this stuff on your own and really dig into technical analysis and be a brainiac and geek out on the numbers, I am always going to tell you what I think and what I'm actually doing. I hope this has been helpful. I know there's a lot of uncertainty right now. People are freaking out because the prices hasn't skyrocketed 5,000% in the last month. Um, look, this isn't a get rich quick kind of game, right? Cryptocurrency is a wonderful financial investment. It is wonderful to build long-term wealth. There is no get rich quick schemes. It doesn't exist. Never in the history of mankind has anyone gotten rich quickly and kept it. Most lottery winners lose all of their money in the next 3 to 5 years. Getting rich quick doesn't do it. But if you are smart and patient and you don't let emotion drive your investments, you make wise decisions with your wealth, long term, you're going to succeed at this game. Drop me a comment. Let me know what you think about the video. Please like, subscribe, share it to somebody else. Hope to get this data out to as many people as I can. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful weekend. Happy Friday, everybody.